The second phase of the antiquity dealer's turn is to deal in the antiquities. They can choose 4 actions, and they must do these actions any number of times until they have reduced the number of cards in their hand down to only 2. One of the 3 actions they can take in the base game is to assemble, to claim, or to publish. The first action that can be taken during an antiquity dealer's second phase of their turn is to assemble either runs or sets of discovery cards. A run is a sequential group of discovery cards that have numbers lying on consecutive 4 numbers. So you can have 3 cards. Here's an example of 29, 30, and 32. Even though it misses 31, it's a run. Or you can have a set of cards, which is all of the same type. Here is a set of cards that this particular player has placed down, where he has 3 emeralds. They assemble those and place them down next to their manuscript. The second action they can take is to claim an artifact. The desire is to get the highest number of points when they're claiming the artifacts. And in this particular example, players have already claimed, for example, an emerald. This player has claimed an emerald, so now there's 2 points associated with this emerald. It's a little more valuable to claim an emerald at this time in the game. Also for diamonds, someone has already picked this player has already picked up a diamond, so they have 1 point in diamonds, but there's now exposing the 2 in the piles of artifact point cards. To claim a particular artifact, you can either exchange 3 artifacts of the same type, plus reciting a few lines in the manuscript. The number of lines that a person recites by memory is determined by their level at the beginning of the game. If they are a more advanced player, they may choose 2 or 3 lines to memorize. A beginner may only choose 1 line. A recitation is like a wild card. It can be used to complete a set of 3 to 4 or a run of 3 to 4. You always claim an artifact with 4 cards, either by using a recitation with 3 or 4 cards. If you have a set of discovery cards, that means of the same type, then you can choose any of the numbers like 16, 40, or 46 to find the number of lines that your level is set around one of those particular numbers. So this person may choose line 16 and memorize then and recite that this person was at level 2, they might recite lines 16 and 17. That nation might live, it is altogether fitting. They would then be prepared to recite those 2 lines to be able to exchange these 3 cards to get this emerald, which gives them 2 more points. The third action that an antiquities dealer does during their second phase of their turn is to publish. If they have in their hands cards that they cannot lay down as an assembled 3 cards on their next to them, they would need to go ahead and start getting rid of some of the cards. So they would choose a card. For example, here's a card number 10, and they would read words, any words they want to, from this particular fragment. The number 10 corresponds to the 10th fragment in the document. And that 10th fragment is, and so dedicated can long endure. So they would choose some of the words in that particular phrase. They might say can, and, so, and as they're saying those words, the other players would be looking on the manuscripts and having a race to be the first one to determine which number they are reading from. And they would say that number. If they get it correct, they would get the card. If not, they cannot participate in that particular round. They're out of that particular round.